Hey friends, welcome back to another yoga class practice here. I'm Molly, if we haven't been together before, and if you have, welcome back. Today we're going to do a full body restorative practice. So not full on yin, we're not going to hold these postures for the full 3 to 5 minutes, but just some nice full body stretching. I'm doing this personally post trail run, but it's really good for evening time, for rest days when you just need something to stretch out but not really build any heat really. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. If you need props, grab them. Blocks or bolsters are always a good idea. I welcome those. And throughout this practice, I invite you and encourage you to just stay in these poses longer if you need. So even if I'm moving on to the next posture, but you are feeling really good where you are, stay there. Kind of linger there and get whatever you need out of this practice. So we're going to start laying on our backs. Full on Shavasana to begin with. So heels to the corners of the mat. Hands can be on body or down by your side with palms up. And feel yourself arrive here. Feel yourself physically move into this space. So feel the points of contact, the back of your head, your bottom, your feet, backs of the shoulders, calves, a little bit of everything. Down the line, touching your mat, touching the ground. And then start to tune into your breath. Notice how it feels naturally without adjusting it in any way. Notice where it flows freely. Tune into any blockages. And today in this class there might be a little more silence, a little less cueing than usual. Just more space for you to be in your practice, to be there fully. And that means that our body and our mind and our heart are in the same place at the same time. It's a really cool experience, and it's a really great gift that we can do that. Take one more inhale in through your nose, filling up fully, completely, calmly. And then take an exhale out of the mouth, sigh it out. Bring your feet to touch the mat. Knees are pointing up to the sky. And then just windshield wiper your legs side to side. Knees drop over to the right. Pull them back through center and then drop them over to the left. Loosening up the low back space, maybe feeling a bit of a stretch on the top of the quad, maybe the outer hip. Good. Pull them back through center and then cross your right ankle over your left knee. Find your reclined pigeon pose. Either stay with the left foot grounded, or if you're a little more open, you can draw your knees in towards your body. Thread your right arm through and then reach your left arm around for the back of the left thigh or the front of the left shin. Use your right glute to pull your right knee out to the side actively. One more cycle of breath here. And then keep your legs crossed as they are, but drop your right foot over to the left side. So the sole of the foot is now planted. We're finding another variation of a twist. Press your left hand into your right inner thigh and open up through the hip. One more inhale, breathe into the tightness, breathe in more space. And then exhale, draw your legs back to center. Plant your left heel down, stretch your right heel up to the sky. Interlace your fingers behind your left thigh, or your right thigh, right calf, right ankle, or use a strap if you need a little more assistance. And just roll out the ankle here. Finding some length along the back of the hamstrings. If you want, if it feels good, you can bend and straighten the right leg, find a little more of a dynamic stretch. Again, always having the option to linger in any of these postures. Good. We'll swap them out. So plant right knee down. Cross left ankle over right thigh. And then move into your variation of reclined pigeon. Maybe the same option as you took on the other side. It's always good to try to have fairly symmetric openings. Can help prevent injury down the line. We want to be evenly strong and evenly open. So try to root your sit bone, your tailbone down towards the mat. Your sacrum is hugging the ground beneath you. This side feels a little tighter for me. I like to take a gentle sway side to side. Engage that outer left glute to draw left knee down. One more inhale here. And then exhale, keep your legs right as they are, but flop them over to the right, pinch your sole of your left foot down. Supine twist variation. You can press your left inner thigh outwards with your right fingertips. Relax the jaw, relax the sides of your neck. And then on your next exhale, pull your legs back to center, plant the right heel down, and then extend the left heel up towards the sky. Hamstring stretch, interlace your fingers wherever is a good sensation for you, and then feel free to roll at the ankle. Feel free to bend and straighten your left leg. Release left foot down, windshield wiper, knees side to side. Scoot your bottom a little closer towards the top of your space. And then extend all four of your limbs up to the sky. Give your wrists a circle, give your ankles another circle. And then if it feels okay in your body, we're going to press our hands down into the mat and use our core and a little bit of momentum to find Halasana plow pose. So toe tips are reaching back behind your head. Your bottom is facing up towards the sky. Big stretch for the back line of the body. And stay calm here. If this is way too much sensation, you could hang out in a little shoulder stand. You could bend your knees to back out of it a little bit. And I really like to bend one leg and straighten the other and switch them out. Hands can be on low back, on the mat, reaching back for the feet. And pause here and breathe. See if on an inhale, can you stretch that string, the back line of the body a little further through the heels and through the crown of the head. And then exhale, bend your knees slightly, get back out of it. We're going to roll all the way up to a wide-legged forward fold. So a bit of a straddle sit here. Take an inhale, roll to the fronts of your sit bones. So if you need to roll up the blanket or your mat to give you a little more space, do that. Grow tall. And then exhale, fold forward. Option to prop up onto your elbows, put a block underneath your elbows, or if you're really open, you might flatten down all the way. I'm definitely not there. Feel what happens in your body. Feel maybe a little tension in your inner thigh. If it feels like a good sensation, a good tension, a good stretch, stay there. Maybe bounce into it. If it feels like too much, back out. We want to keep that ease with our breath. We want to keep softness to our shoulders. And then reach your right hand over towards your right ankle. Inhale, sweep left arm overhead. Find a side body stretch. So good. Breathe into the left lung. Exhale, crawl through center. Left hand over to left ankle. Inhale, reach your right arm overhead. Inflate the right one. Exhale, crawl through center. Inhale, over to the right. Curl your heart up to the sky. Peel that left shoulder open. Exhale, back through center. Inhale, swap it out. Exhale, back through center. On this last one, we're going to hold for a couple breaths over to the right. So if you're able, grab your big toe with your peace fingers of your left hand. You can also bend your right elbow, place it on a prop or on the mat, and then rest the side of your right cheek into your right hand. Ground down through left sit bone. See how that creates space between the top of your pelvis and the bottom of your ribs. And breathe into the back body here. See if you can inflate not only the front of the stomach, but also the back towards the kidney area. Good. Next out breath, we'll switch them out. Prop up onto left elbow. If that's way too much, just take a nice little side bend. We meet ourselves where we are. Got 3 breaths here. Pretend you have a sandbag weighing down your right thigh. And fan open the right ribs. One more cycle of breath in. And then exhale, come through center. Bring your legs in front of you, but nice, really generous bend through them. Inhale to go tall through your spine. Roll your sit bones forward. Or your hip bones forward, not your sit bones. And then exhale, find a really gentle fold. Hug your thighs. Drop your face in between your knees. Separate your shoulder blades softly back behind you. And hang out here. Learning to be okay with doing less. Learning to be okay with a little more simplicity, a little more pause, more silence, more softness. Good. Walk your feet underneath you, plant through your heels. Fingertips are back behind you, and then ground down through feet, ground down through palms. We're going to find a reverse table. So driving the hips up towards the sky, drop your head back if that's comfortable. Open up through the front body. Big breath in here. And then exhale, lower hips back down to the mat. Windshield wiper, knees drop over to the right. Gaze to the left over the left shoulder. Swap them out, knees drop to the left, gaze over the right shoulder. Over to the right. Let it feel good through your back body. Over to the left. Good. Last time over to the right, and we're going to hold for a couple cycles. So grounding down through hands, puffing it up through the chest like you had a balloon, pulling your heart up to the sky. Letting legs drop heavy. No need to hold them in any certain position here. expand laterally outwards on an in-breath. Fill up the space of your torso. And then exhale, drop back to center, drop them over to the left. Puff up that heart again. Slight gaze over the right shoulder. 2 more cycles of breath. Good. Final exhale, come back through center. Hands, feet are planted. Inhale, drive up again, reverse tabletop. And then exhale, shift your bum back between your hands. Stretch your legs out long. We're going to find more of a traditional forward fold. But again, if you need that soft bend in your knees, if you need a bolster underneath, please take that. So crawl your hands out to where they land. Inhale, stretch heart forwards. And then exhale, fold, soften down. Also an option to place a prop underneath your forehead here. We'll stay here for several moments. So this time and the space between what just was and what's going to be next, it reminds me of one of the harder lessons I'm learning lately, which is what we do in that gap really matters. So my husband and I almost got in a fight this morning. Thankfully, we've been both working on ourselves, but there's that moment when something is frustrating you, someone or something, some circumstance, and you have that time, whether you think you do or you don't, you totally have that time between stimulus and response. And what we do here on the mat, we learn how to increase that space, to take a breath there, to pause, to reflect, to gather ourselves, so that we're able to move into our response with more mindfulness, more patience, more grace, and kindness towards others. So that space between stimulus and response, we learn to be comfortable there in the waiting, in the pause. It reminds me of this quote by Viktor Frankl, who's an Austrian, I think a neurologist and a Holocaust survivor. And he says, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies growth and our freedom. I love that, and I hate it. I hate that we have to sit there. It's so hard at first, but it does become easier. It's so easy to snap and say whatever you want to say to be right, but it's such a sign of growth and maturity and love to lengthen that time, find a more loving response. Take one more inhale here in your forward fold. Good, ease back out of it. Crawl your way back up. Bend your knees, cross your legs, come into tabletop, all fours. Shoulders stacked over hands, hips stacked over knees. Couple rounds of cat-cow here. Inhale to drop the belly, lift the tail, lift the gaze, pull heart through shoulders. Exhale, tuck chin and chest around, pubic bone up towards navel. Puff up through the back of the heart. Press your hands into the mat. Inhale, open up, engage back body, find cow pose. And exhale around, push away, find cat. One more time here, inhale. And breathe out. Move into some barrel rolls, so bringing your ribs over to the right, dropping them down, sliding them to the left, and then pushing them back up to the sky. 2 more rounds in this direction. Let it feel good. Let your hips move in the opposite direction of your ribs. Last one this way. Good, and then we'll switch it out. So ribs poke out to the left, sink them down, slide them to the right, and then press them up to the sky. 2 more cycles this way. Find yourself in a neutral spine. Take one more inhale. Drop down into cow pose. And then walk your hands forward. Find Anahatasana puppy, heart melting pose. So the goal of the idea is that your heart would find the mat before your chin does. If that feels a lot, please just rest your forehead down or find a block to support underneath you. And then we draw out our armpits down. And we breathe along the length of our side waists. Take one more breath in. And then on an exhale, curl your pubic bone up towards your navel. Let the ripples through your spine draw you forward. Strong through your hands as you lower thighs and pelvis down to the mat. Seal pose. Always option to drop down into Sphinx, lowering the elbows down, but if you're with me, we'll hang out and seal for a couple of cycles. Roll your shoulders onto your back body. Slingshot your heart forward. Glutes are slightly engaged, and core is slightly engaged to pull your pubic bone up towards your navel. Protect the low back. One more inhale here, grow longer, grow taller. And then exhale, now we all lower down into Sphinx pose. Elbows rest onto the mat. Curl your heels up towards the sky. And then drop them side to side, releasing across the back. One more over to the right, and one more over to the left. All right, we're gonna cactus our right elbow out to the side. So find a goal pose, a 90-degree shape. And then press through your left hand as you curl left heel up towards the sky. And we're gonna roll open. Stretching along the front of our right chest, our right shoulder. Using left fingertips for support or reaching back behind your back. Interlacing fingers behind you. Goal is for the left knee to point upwards if possible, but if you want, you can just stack legs on top of each other. It's a great stretch regardless. Find what is tense. Back out of it a little bit and breathe. See if you can soften instead of force. One more breath in. And then exhale, roll back onto your belly. We'll swap them out. Left hand, left elbow cactuses out to the side. Press through your right fingertips. Curl right heel in towards your bum. And then roll onto the left side of the body. Big opening across the left front side of the body. And then right knee can point up towards the sky. Or can stack on top or behind the left leg. Option to bring that right hand behind your back as well. Take one more softening inhale. And then exhale, release back onto your belly. Tuck your toes, press your palms, glide up to a tabletop, and then sink back to an active child's pose. So hips are resting back towards heels, toes are still tucked, hands are reaching far in front of you. On our breath in, we tuck our chin into our chest. We round through our spine, ripple forward to a cat pose as you shift weight forward towards your fingertips. And then exhale, untuck your sit bones, glide them back towards your heels, drop your belly. Reach your heart forward, but your hips when pulling you back into cow. Spinal waves, inhale, roll forward to cat. Exhale, unlock the pelvis. Let it sink you back. Heart opens. Inhale, back of the heart expands. Exhale, sink back into your cow, active child's. 2 more cycles here. Good work. On your last one, untuck your toes. Find a full child's pose, rest forehead down to the mat. Couple options here. Big toes can touch, knees can be wide, arms can be in front of you, or you can bring your knees in narrow and your arms down by your side for embryo. Letting the back of the heart soften the shoulder blades. Roll down the sides of your back. And drop into the space. Nothing to do, nowhere to be. This part is important. These few minutes and moments on your mat are so important. They're so life-giving. Take one more breath in. And then exhale, draw your fingers back. Pull your body up to tabletop. Crown down through left hand. Inhale, sweep right hand high to the sky. Pelvis stays neutral. Tuck those hips back over to the left. And then exhale, thread the needle. Bring your right hand underneath your left shoulder. Rest down onto right cheek. Hips are still pointing high. You can reach your left fingertips out in front of you. Or you can reach them back behind your back for your inner right thigh. This is such a lovely pose to breathe into. Feel all that new space, all that interesting space. Kind of a few restrictions which make you breathe elsewhere in a good way. And on your next exhale, walk your left hand back underneath your body if you moved it. Inhale, sweep right arm up to sky. And then exhale, plant down through right hand. Swap them out, breathe in, open up your left wing. Tuck those hips back over to the right. And then exhale, thread the needle. Lowering left ear down to mat. Your option with your right hand. Feel that breath move along the back sides of the ribs. Option to bring right hand to inner left thigh. One more expansive inhale. On your exhale, return your right hand down to the mat. Inhale, sweep left hand high. And then exhale, tabletop. Walk your hands out a little bit longer. Tuck your toes and then glide back to downward facing dog. So we're engaging the muscles along our back body, lining our spine to pull us back. We're driving through the L shape of our hand through the thumb and the index finger. And then we're bending our knees as much as we need to flick our tailbone up. Prioritizing length through the spine as opposed to just melting heels down and rounding through the back body. And stay here for 3 cycles of breath. Feel into your shape. What adjustments do you need to make? What activations? What relaxations? Final inhale to grow long through each of your limbs. Final exhale to ground down into the mat. Keep your left foot planted where it is. Inhale, sweep right leg high, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend your knee, open your hip. Your chest can open as well, but we're going to take some circles out through the ankle, the hip, the knee. Find some motion, some lubrication through your right hip joint. And then switch directions. Good. Inhale, 3-legged dog, square the hips. And then exhale, set up almost for a pigeon pose. So right ankle is going to come behind left wrist, right knee behind right wrist. But I want you to bend your left knee as well and bring that shin parallel to the long edge of the mat. So more of like a 90-90 position or close to a deer pose. Inhale, grow tall through the crown of your head. We're really active through our hips and through our core. Exhale, without using your hands, we're going to lower our body over top of our right shin. And then drive back up, push the outer right leg into the mat. And then exhale, we're going to fold over our right knee, so diagonally. Fingertips support you now. And then find a nice undulation through the spine. On your inhale, press through fingertips and inflate through the back of the heart. Exhale, fold down over right knee. 2 more, inhale. Exhale, release. Inhale, push up through the fingers, inflate through the back of the heart. Exhale, drape your body down. Good, plant right palm down. Inhale, drive through left knee, and then extend hips forward. Nice little opening. Breathe into the left lung. And then exhale, we'll release all the way down into a fold. So upper body releases down into a nice little 90-90 stretch. Big opening for the outside of the right hip. Find that threshold. Find that perfect space between challenging yourself and opening up. So we don't want to go too far. So we tense everything, but we don't want to not give ourselves any stimulus to grow and to open. If you feel comfortable here, please stay. If you'd like, we're going to move to a pigeon. So all we're going to do is extend our left leg long back behind us. Right leg stays the same. And then really draw left hip down towards the mat. Just square off through the pelvis. Great place to use a prop underneath the arms, underneath your forehead. Also an option to place a little blanket underneath the right hip if you feel too much distance between your right hip and the mat. And then arms are supporting you as much as you need. More cycles of breath. How can you better commit to the shape? One more inhale. press up onto your hands if you aren't already. Actually, roll down onto your right elbow. We are going to extend our right leg long back behind you underneath the left. And then we're going to press up onto our right hand. I love this stretch. I don't know what it's called. I call it a lazy side seal because seal is this. And then we're lazily rolling onto our side. But so good to open up through the right side of the body. And then drop right ear down, right shoulder. Take one more inhale, puff up through the right lungs, separate the right ribs from each other, fan out wide. And then exhale, we curl our right knee back into a pigeon pose, top of the mat. Press through your hands, inhale, lift chest forward. And then exhale, tuck left toes, drive right heel high. Inhale, stretch long into a three-legged dog. And then exhale, bend your knee, open your hip, flip all the way over. Right toe tips laying behind you, hips hover off the mat, hand to heart. Press into your points of contact and then inhale, move into a wild thing. Up and up through the front body. And exhale, turn back to the mat. 2 hands, 2 feet, downward facing dog. 3 cycles of breath. Then ground down through right toes, inhale, sweep left heel high, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend knee, open hip, heart can follow, but we're gonna roll out the right hip, knee, ankle, couple circles in one direction, and then a couple circles in the opposite. Next breath in, re-square the hips. And then exhale, set up for deer pose, so right knee behind, or left knee behind left wrist. Left ankle behind right wrist. And then bend your right knee up so your shin is parallel, creating 90-degree angles. Sit up out of your waist. Hands to heart center. Inhale. And then without the support of your hands, exhale, we're going to fold body over the left shin. Engage, press your left knee into the mat, lift back up. And then exhale, fold over left knee, fingertips to support you. 3 rolls through the spine, almost like an oscillating cobra. Inhale. Exhale, drape body back down. 2 more times with your breath. Good, final lift up through the back of the heart on an in-breath. And then exhale. Fold into deer pose, upper body across the front of the left shin. Oh, I forgot one stretch. We're going to keep our left fingertips out to the side. And then drive forward through the hips. Reach your right arm over your head. Okay, exhale now to fold. Couldn't forget that little addition. Great place for a prop. Either stay where you are, or if you'd like, we're going to extend our right leg back behind us, nice and long. Find your traditional pigeon pose. Big stretch for the outer left hip. And then notice what you do here in this space. Notice your response. Notice your emotions. Notice where your mind is. Enjoy these last 2 cycles of breath. Good. On your exhale, we're going to roll onto left hip. Extend left leg underneath right, and then press up through left hand. Find your lazy side seal. Drop left shoulder and left ear to meet. And then pretend you had a weight on the lower part of your left ribs, just pulling them down. And breathe into this newfound space. I'm trying not to sigh, but this class just makes me want to sigh a lot in a good way, like, so if you want to do that, go ahead and let one out. One more inhale. Exhale, bend left knee back towards Pigeon Pose. Press through your hands, inhale, reach, heart forward. Tuck right toes. And then exhale, press to your palms, drive left heel up. Extend long throughout your limbs, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend your left knee, open your hip, drop your toe tips back behind you, hover hips off the mat, hand to heart. And then press in your points of contact, inhale, wildly. Big, full, expansive inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog, 2 hands, 2 feet to the mat. Feel the difference. Feel how this down dog compares to the first. Your body hopefully feels lovely. Mine does. We're going to walk feet forward to the top of the mat, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift fingertips to shins. Crown of the head sprouts forward. Then exhale, we're going to sit all the way down to our bums and lay down onto your back. Pull right knee into chest, extend left heel long. Find some compression, belly hugging right thigh, and then find some open air on the front of the left hip. Breathe it in. And exhale, right knee comes over to the left side, find a spinal twist. Right hand, T-shape out to the right side, gaze can follow. Try to keep both shoulder blades grounded into the mat. One of the yummiest stretches of all. Big inhale, find where you can expand a little bit more. And exhale, roll back to center. Swap them out, left knee into chest, right heel extend long. Feel that counteracting of pulling in through the left and then pressing out through the right. The compression and the opening. Breathe in. Breathe out, spinal twist, left knee over to the right side. Left hand out to the side, gaze can follow. Breathe in. Breathe out, roll back to center. Find your happy baby. So soles of the feet stamp up towards the sky. Hands find either outer shins, ankles, or if you're able, outsides the feet, and then roll your sacrum down towards the mat. So create more opening on the inner thigh, the groin. And soften here. Or if you want, roll side to side, make it fun. Make it a little massage for your low back. As you drop to one side and then the other. As you inhale, roll your tailbone down onto the mat. And then as you exhale, hug everything in. Give yourself a squeeze. Knees in tight. Inhale to lift your forehead up to your kneecaps. Try to breathe in here a little bit more. And then exhale, big release. Shavasana. Find your final resting pose. And again, hands can be outstretched with palms up, hands can be on body. And try to cultivate that calm presence within this gap space, within the practice we did. Right before we move out to whatever is next. And enjoy here. This is a place of refresh, a place of integration. If your mind has wandered, pull it back. Find a grounding point in the inhales and the exhales. Soften the jaw. Unclench your eyelids. Final moments here to summarize whatever you need. Maybe I'll read our quote one more time. You hang tight where you are. It says, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies growth and our freedom. So with that, I'm going to take one more inhale together, big full breath in. Hold at the top for a second or two. And then exhale, side out. Gently roll onto your side. You can keep your eyes closed if you wish. Hang out on the side, lying here. And then press up to a seat. Cross your legs or come to kneeling. Place your hands somewhere on body. We're going to take an inhale to grow long through our spine. And then an exhale to bow to the practice. Thank you for being here, for spending these 45 or so minutes, is what my guess is. To work on yourself, to work on your body, yes, obviously, but also your mind and your heart, so that you can go out from this space into your relationships with more patience, with more mindfulness in that gap space. I challenge you this week to pay attention to that area. Pay attention to how you interact with others and find at least one opportunity where you purposely extend that space between stimulus and response. Swallow your pride. Find a more kind and loving response. That's the work. That's why we do this. So thank you for being here. If you liked it, please like this video and share it with others, and then subscribe so you see the next one. And always feel free to comment below what you would like to see more of. And I'll see you next time. Thank you guys.